order copy of US court where clearly gives a conviction to Nehal Modi, and there are some of the certain important points that has been mentioned in the order that we have access. If we read out the third paragraph, which clearly stated that Nehal Modi, who comes from a well-known family in our diamond industry, approached LLD in March 2015 and asked LLD to provide several diamonds worth nearly $8 lakh to present to Costco. After LLD provided the diamond, Modi falsely informed the company that Costco had agreed to purchase them. Based on the representation where LLD allowed the defendant to purchase the diamond on credit with full payment required within 90 days. Instead of selling the diamond to Costco, however, Modi pawned them the next day at Model Collateral Loans INC for $450,000 for his personal gain. So this has come in the observations of a US court, which clearly stated how Nehal Modi, who known to be a very known to be in a diamond industry, has taken a diamond for worth 2.6 million US dollars, and he has taken it for the personal gain. Moreover, what has been mentioned in the order copy that Republic has exclusively accessed, we stated that Manhattan District Attorney announced the conviction of Nehal Modi for fraudulently obtaining more than $2.6 million worth of diamond from Manhattan-based wholesale company LLD Diamonds between March and August 2015, where Modi made a false representation regarding a purported deal with a Costco Wholesale Corporation to obtain more than $2.6 million of diamonds from LLD, and then liquidated the diamond for his own personal gain, which is why Nehal Modi was convicted by a New York State Supreme Court jury of grand lency in the first degree. So observation that has been made by US court clearly gives a conviction to the Nehal Modi, and we know that the diamond that was obtained from LLD, which he used it for the personal gain. There were many checks, there were many contacts that were made with Nehal Modi, but no checks and no payment that was received from Nehal Modi, and that has really worked out, is what mentioned in the order of US. And where the Nehal Modi comes to a diamond industry, well, to be very famous, and that is where he was given the diamonds, but he used it for his personal gain, and that is now has come before the court where he has given the conviction. And we have to wait and watch what will the further the punishment that will be, of course, will be given. And of course, as you mentioned, that it might not really connect to his brother, whereas Nirav Modi. We know that there are several cases that has been registered against Nirav Modi, but yes, when it comes to his brother Nehal Modi, who is now convicted for the diamond fraud that he had been done, and this is the order that has been given by the Manhattan District Court. Yes.
Well, in fact, some more interesting points coming out from this particular order, and I'll just take a quick question from you, Alicia. But before I come across to you, let's just break it down for our viewers. What does this essentially mean, and does this have any sort of bearing on the cases that he faces in India at this point in time? Along with Nirav Modi, remember, Nehal Modi is also being booked by the Central Bureau of Investigation, and not just that, we were given to understand that they would perhaps, the central agencies would perhaps go ahead with the extradition of Nehal Modi. But what I find it very interesting is that, and I'm quoting from the court order that has been accessed by Republic TV, in which there's a clear mention of the fact the modus operandi becomes extremely clear. And they say that the scheme unfolded in the heart of New York City's historic Diamond District, where Nehal Modi conned and defrauded a Manhattan business out of millions. So what has essentially happened is that you've had fake diamonds, and the fact that there were these overpricing invoices that were put up, and the fact that when a proper audit was actually done, he was actually asked to pay up. And I'm quoting once again, and perhaps Alicia, you can come on this, where the LLD ultimately uncovered the fraud and demanded that Modi immediately pay his outstanding balance or return the diamonds. However, the defendant, which is basically Nehal Modi, had already sold or pawned all the diamonds and had spent most of these proceeds. It's quite similar to the kind of fraud that his brother Nirav Modi has done, especially after taking the loan from a consortium of banks and then rerouting the money, finally buying diamonds in other countries, selling it off, and let's not forget, even fake diamonds.
Well, yes, Shravan, it certainly seems like a same modus operandi what Nirav Modi did in whether it is in India and now the Nirav Modi, because there are important points that has been pointed out by the court, that is a US court, where clearly mentioned about that between April and May 2015, where Nirav Modi returned to LLD 3 additional times and took more than $1 million worth of diamond for a purported sale to Costco, where Modi made a series of payments to LLD before coming back to steal more diamonds and used the majority of the proceeds for personal use and other business expenses. To cover this fraud, to cover his fraud, where Nehal Modi falsely claimed that he was encountering payment issues due to the Costco fulfillment error and made repeated false promises to satisfy the balance. So, of course, what has come before the court that, and I earlier mentioned about it, that he was making a payment, but that was a false payment that was made to LLD, and this was a repeated false promises which was done to satisfy the balance, and the reason that he was giving to the other party, saying that it's a Costco fulfillment error. So this has now come before the court, and which is why he's been convicted in the same case.
Well, thank you very much, Alicia, for getting us the big breaking news on This Is Exclusive. More trouble for Nirav Modi's brother, Nehal Modi, who currently, we are given to understand, is hiding in Belgium. Should we focus now to the other story that we are getting for you tonight on This Is Exclusive? Incriminating chats have come out from the WhatsApp groups of Module Ghazwa-e Hind, mentioned by the Bihar police in a press briefing on Friday. As per MS Dillon, Senior Superintendent of Police, there were 2 groups found on the phone of Margav Ahmed Danish alias Tahir, who was arrested from Fulwari Sharif. The first group, created using a Pakistani number, had over 181 members, including those from countries like India, Pakistan, Yemen and other Gulf countries. Another group was made in January that had about 8 members from Bangladesh, 1 from Pakistan, and he himself, the module, had WhatsApp a group with profile pictures of Akhand Bharat with Pakistani flags all over. They also spoke about direct jihad in 2023. That's the latest details with regards to this particular module that has now been busted. Let me go across to my colleague and our senior editor, Prakash, who's joining us on This Is Exclusive. Prakash, your story debuting on This Is Exclusive. It's important to point out that as the investigation widens, it turns out that it's only not linked to one particular module. There is a possibility of more sleeper cells existing. But I also want to ask you, with regards to these WhatsApp chats, they say that this is incriminating, but at the same time, a lot of investigative agencies in the past have hit a stumbling block when it comes to WhatsApp chats, because these are WhatsApp numbers based out of Pakistan. Some could be through VoIP. So how exactly is the police really planning to take this forward?
Shravan, this investigation is absolutely widening and it's gaining momentum as and it gets, because first it was linked to the PFI. The arrest was made pertaining to PFI and the dossier that was recovered from the PFI office in Patna pertaining to the Islamic rule in India by 2047. And during the process of the raids that were being conducted, this man called Danish alias Tahir, who was a member of Ghazwa-e Hind, an operative of Ghazwa-e Hind in Bihar, was arrested because the police found incriminating documents. And the WhatsApp chat you are talking about. And there were 2 WhatsApp groups. There are enough evidences that the police say in the press conference also right now. He said that there are enough evidence pertaining to the WhatsApp group, the Pakistani citizens involved in it, Pakistani numbers involved in it, and they have enough corroboration as well. So for investigation purpose, they are not divulging it everything, but they have everything. That's what they say. Now the purpose of this investigation is that whether all these different groups are linked to each other or not. That's what we call sleeper cells. Are they working in a coordinated efforts? That has to be ascertained. And as far as other agencies are concerned, you were talking about, every agency is in it, be it the NIA, be it the RAW, be it the CBI, be it other investigating agencies in the Bihar police as well as ATS. Now, the investigation has reached to is reaching to a point now. These 2 people, the first 2 who were arrested, Arman Malik and Athar Parvez, is now going to be on police remand for further investigation. Then they will have a face-off interrogation with the police and the IB team. That's what we are told. And Arman Malik and Athar Parvez are said to be the kingpin here in Bihar. They are said to be the operative. Arman Malik in particular is the fundraiser, and on whose behest he was raising the fund is not yet known, but for sure, as and when the investigation proceeds, they will get to know about who are the people behind them, and of course there is a Pakistan link to it for sure. Now back to you.
Thank you very much, Prakash, for putting this into perspective. Let's also play out a report that was filed by my colleague Prakash a short while back.
I'm here at one of the Madrasa in Danapur area, close to Fulwari Sharif, and sources tell us that some kind of training underwent here in this Madrasa, and this is pretty close to Fulwari Sharif area. People from Kerala and other parts of India visited this area for some kind of training. As you can see that children are studying here. ये बच्चे क्या पढ़ रहे हैं?
ये बच्चे कोई कुरान शरीफ पढ़ते हैं, कोई
क्या क्या है? मदरसा भी है, मस्जिद भी है?
जी, मदरसा मस्जिद दोनों है।
मदरसा मस्जिद दोनों
जी।
और यहाँ पर क्या पढ़ाई जाती है?
ये दीनी तालीम पढ़ाई जाती है, कुरान शरीफ हुआ, हिंदी हुआ।
बोल रहे हैं लोग कि कुछ ट्रेनिंग हुई थी?
नहीं सर, यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं हुई है।
कुछ नहीं हुआ?
नहीं,
अच्छा,
यहाँ पे तो कुछ नहीं हुआ सर।
वो जो पकड़ाए हैं लोग, अथर परवेज और वो सब, उनके बारे में पता है?
अभी तो पता नहीं था, अभी मीडिया वाले सब आए थे ना, अभी वही बताए हैं कि फला फला लोग पकड़ा गया है। जी।
So Athar Parvez, it is said that he had organized some kind of training over here in this place, and people from Kerala, West Bengal had visited this area, and the training like martial arts, sticks, and how to use rods and firearms were taught here, because in the dossier it was mentioned that you have to create your own cadre so as to take on the might of the state. So sources tell us that some kind of training had underwent here, but Mr. Tabarak is not accepting this. He is denying the fact that कोई training हुई थी यहाँ पे। कोई training हुई थी?
नहीं सर, यहाँ पे कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं हुई है।
So but यहाँ पर लोग तो आते जाते रहते हैं?
हाँ, वो तो मदरसा मस्जिद है, वो तो आते जाते रहते हैं, नमाज पढ़ने के लिए आते हैं।
कितने साल से यहाँ पे?
4 साल से लगभग।
So he says that he's been here for the past 4 years or so, and he denies that any kind of training underwent here. But sources in the police say that some kind of training was imparted over here, and that to the effect of martial arts, guns, using guns, so that a separate cadre and trained army personnel could be trained so that they can take on the might of state machinery.
Well, this has been the day's top story, and we've got you more details. Bharatiya Janata Party leaders on Friday slammed the Congress a day after the special investigation team of Gujarat police claimed that activist Teesta Setalwad was part of a larger conspiracy hatched by late Congress leader Ahmed Patel to dismantle the BJP government in the state after 2002 Gujarat riots. In fact, Republic spoke to Ahmed Patel's daughter Mumtaz Patel. Listen.
मुमताज, ये जो एसआईटी की तरफ से हलफनामा दाखिल किया गया उसमें ये कहा गया है कि अहमद पटेल से की तरफ से 30 लाख रुपए तीस्ता सीतलवाड़ को दिए गए थे और सरकार गिराने की पूरी साजिश थी।
इस पर क्या कहेंगे? सरकार गिराने वाले थे, आप ही बताइए। अब मैं क्या इसके बारे में क्या बोल सकती हूँ? आज अगर ये इतनी बड़ी कॉन्स्पिरेसी थी तो आपको लगता है कि सिर्फ 2 महीने पहले या 1 महीने पहले इस चीज की खबर दिख रही होगी? अगर ये चीज थी और मेरे फादर इन्वॉल्व थे इस चीज में, तो सरकार ने क्यों नहीं पहले कोई कदम उठाया और उनके ऊपर कोई कार्रवाई करी? आज क्यों 6 महीना गुजरात इलेक्शन से पहले ये क्यों आ रहा है? हेलो
जी मुमताज, बीजेपी ये कह रही है कि ये तो सिर्फ वो खुलासा है जो एसआईटी की तरफ से किया गया, ना जाने कितनी फंडिंग तीस्ता सीतलवाड़ को की गई होगी। और वो सीधा इशारा कह रहे हैं कि सोनिया गांधी के इशारे पर ये सब कुछ किया जा रहा था, उस वक्त की गुजरात सरकार को बदनाम करने की कोशिश हो रही थी।
तो आप ये बताइए कि अभी इस चीज के बारे में डिफेंस कौन देगा? अगर ये कह रहे हैं कि मेरे फादर का नाम इन्वॉल्व था इसमें और डायरेक्ट लिंक मिसेस गांधी को जा रहा है, तो आज इसके बारे में डिफेंड कौन करेगा? वो तो है नहीं आज, तो बहुत ही आसान है उनका नाम लेना। बाकी भी तो कुछ एसआईटी में मेंशन है ना, और पॉलिटिशियंस थे और थे, वो कौन थे? उनके नाम क्यों नहीं मेंशन करेंगे? उनसे क्यों नहीं पूछताछ करी जा रही है? हेलो
जी मुमताज, संबित पात्रा की तरफ से कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स भी रखे गए हाई कोर्ट के और उनकी तरफ से कहा गया कि किस तरीके से पूरा जो खेल था उस वक्त की सरकार को, गुजरात सरकार को, उस वक्त के मुख्यमंत्री को बदनाम करने की कोशिश की गई थी। वो ये कह रहे हैं कि अब इस पर सोनिया गांधी को जवाब देना चाहिए। आखिर क्यों? क्योंकि अहमद पटेल सोनिया गांधी के सलाहकार रहे हैं। ऐसे में वो ये मांग कर रही है बीजेपी कि सोनिया गांधी को इस पूरे मामले पर जवाब देना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल, तो आप अगर ये कह रहे हैं तो आई एम श्योर पार्टी स्टैंड लेगी ना। पार्टी ने भी तो कोई स्टेटमेंट दी और पार्टी अपना प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जरूर करेगी। इसमें तो मैं कोई कमेंट कर नहीं सकती। मैं तो आपसे सिर्फ उनकी डॉटर के बेसिस पे बात कर रही हूँ।
Let me also bring in my colleague Piyush, who's been tracking this story very closely. Piyush, take us through some of the charges that have been leveled by the Bharatiya Janata Party, because it does appear that they've raked up this entire issue, but saying that Ahmed Patel was largely used by Sonia Gandhi to bring down the Gujarat government. What more are you picking up?
Well, absolutely, Shawan, and today in the morning we also saw as to how the BJP had done a press conference where they had said that the driving force behind all this conspiracy was Sonia Gandhi, and that is why we demand a press conference to be done by Sonia Gandhi and answer all the questions. In fact, BJP is now saying that Ahmed Patel was acting at the behest of the National Advisory Council, which was being chaired by Sonia Gandhi, and Teesta Setalwad was also member of National Advisory Council. This is what the serious allegation which has been leveled by BJP. On this big press conference which was done by BJP, now Congress party has come out and issued a statement saying that all these things are nothing but manufactured and mischievous attempt at the part of BJP. We also heard a couple of minutes back what the daughter of Ahmed Patel had to say. She also mentioned about the fact that elections are coming, and that is why the names have cropped out. But the larger point here is that why was Ahmed Patel being used? Because in its report, SIT has also mentioned how there was a meeting also took place between Teesta Setalwad and Ahmed Patel. Now BJP is coming out that everything was being done to defame the image of the then Chief Minister and now Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and also the BJP in the state of Gujarat. A larger conspiracy was being hatched by the Congress party to defame the workers also of BJP. We'll have to wait and watch how the Congress is further going to put its ante against the BJP on this. In fact, Congress is also playing an emotional card by saying that BJP has not spared the departed soul, and his name has been put up by BJP and put up by SIT at the behest of the central government. We'll have to wait and watch how things are going to move ahead from this junction. But yes, BJP is now demanding answers from Sonia Gandhi and a press conference from Congress party's interim president.
Just a quick question before I let you go. As far as the status of the investigation is concerned, is there anything that you're picking up?
Well, if you talk about the investigation, SIT has filed its affidavit where important points have been put in by the SIT, and what we are now learning is that more and more people are on radar. Remember that in its affidavit, SIT has also mentioned the name of former IPS officer Mr. Bhatt, and also Sri Kumar's name has also been put in that particular affidavit. The investigation continues to take place, but soon after this was filed by SIT, war of words have now begun. BJP is now blaming Congress's top leadership because it is saying that it was a conspiracy which was being hatched by the top leadership of Congress party to defame the image, to malign the image of the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi. And the investigation in this case continues to take place. As of now, SIT is connecting more and more dots because it has come out with a very important point which certainly suggests us that how there was a meeting which took place there in Circuit House, and in that particular meeting top leaders of Congress party workers were also present. In fact, Ahmed Patel, late Ahmed Patel, had also participated in that meet in which Tisar Sitalwada was also there. So multiple things have now cropped out. We'll have to wait and watch how the investigation further heads.
Well, thank you very much for getting us the latest details.
See around you have an Elon Musk, you have other people who are conducting space tourism. We would have become a powerful space country. When there is a Los Angeles Times reports that Senators Committee chairman wanted a cryogenic contract to be scrapped, and Russians were afraid. I have seen with my own eyes the letter written by them. I started losing my faith in the entire thing. So many adjournments were there. I go there.
You fly from Trivandrum to Delhi.
Like that 19 times. Then I said, this is the end of it. I am not going to go anymore. As I was hoping, God came to my rescue.
Reading allows us to become familiar with ourselves.
We don't read, we won't know what is knowledge.
I just find it very interesting to know people's lives, how they went through certain situations, how they dealt with things.
So wherever you want to go in life, if you read books along those lines, then that would really help you in growing.
Reading could mean a million different things to every individual. What does it mean to you? Visit readindia.info to find out more.
'94 the case happened. '96 I was cleared by the CJM court. '98 I was cleared by the Supreme Court. Afterwards, till 2018, I was fighting the case, primarily an attempt to punish those people who have done this crime.
This man has fought a case on his own with no help, and he has fought the case right up to the Supreme Court. He has slept on the staircase of the Supreme Court. He has fought when the lawyers have left him. He has argued his own case, so much so that the Indian government for the very first time has the constitution pay him.
Top stories from across the nation. The Prime Minister, along with officials of the Uttar Pradesh government as well as the central cabinet, inaugurated the Bundelkhand Expressway. The 296-kilometer four-lane expressway has been completed within 28 months. During his address at the inauguration of the Bundelkhand Expressway in UP, the Prime
Nirav Modi's brother Nehal Modi convicted by the US court in a diamond fraud case. Sensational details out. Republic accesses the US court order. Nehal Modi convicted for fraud of $2.6 million. Patna police intensifies the crackdown on the terror module. One person detained from Uttar Pradesh. Chats of the Ghazwa-e-Hind group accessed by Republic, Pakistan and Bangladesh connection now exposed.
ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಹಣ ಡೈಲಿ 25ರಿಂದ 30% ಹಣ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ ಏನು ಸಹ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ಮೈನ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 0 ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ನಾನು ದುಡ್ದಂಥ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಹಣವನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಸಹ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಇನ್ಸೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ 2999 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ರೀಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಒನ್ ಡೇಗೆ 149 ರುಪೀಸ್ ರೀಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡಿತೀನೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಹಣ ನನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇದರಿಂದ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಸಹ ನನ್ನ ಕುಟುಂಬ ಸಹ ತುಂಬ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದೆ.
The centre has listed 24 bills, including the Cantonment Bill, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill, for introduction in the monsoon session of Parliament. As per the bulletin issued by the Lok Sabha Secretariat, the Cantonment Bill proposes to achieve greater development objectives and facilitate ease of living in cantonments. Similarly, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Bill seeks to introduce provisions on cross-border insolvency. The government has also listed the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Bill, which proposes to rationalize the prohibited areas and bring other amendments. In a move, 2 separate bills for constitution amendment to revise the list of SCS and scheduled tribes (STS) for Chhattisgarh and Tamil Nadu are also listed for introduction. Monsoon session of Parliament for this year is set to commence from July 18. Bureau Report, Republic TV. 2 students were attacked in Madhya Pradesh's Ujjain as they were on their way to the Mahakal temple in the city. The assailants reportedly carried the attack out in order to disturb the communal harmony in the city.
America has not done a crime in respect to Indian angle. They have done and tried to protect their interest. It is our job to see that we do this and then get this things done. Here we have some people who were working against our own interest.
In India.
In India.
And they are the real traitors.
They are the real traitors.
There were 2 types of patriots in this country. One that actually go out bearing their chest in a hail of bullets and give their lives for the country, and their contributions sarakon par. Others like him, the price that he's paid for it, I don't think any sane man would have been alive today had he paid that price.
Congress stalwart Ahmed Patel's name topples out in Teesta Setalwad case. Will Vadra Congress speak up now? Malign Modi plot stands exposed. BJP claims Teesta wanted to destabilize the then Gujarat government. Patna police intensifies the crackdown on terror module. 1 person detained from Uttar Pradesh. Chats of the Ghazwa-e-Hind group accessed by Republic, Pakistan and Bangladesh connection now exposed. Shipal questions Akhilesh on support for Yashwant Sinha, asks why back someone who insulted Mulayam Singh Yadav. BJP holds a parliamentary panel meeting on vice presidential elections. Starting this edition of Live and Breaking with the latest coming in from the BJP headquarters, where senior leaders of the BJP, including Home Minister Amit Shah, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari and Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan are at the BJP headquarters. Just a short while back, JP Nadda and Amit Shah had started the meeting before the BJP Parliamentary Board meeting that is set to take place. It started around 6 o'clock this evening. It's almost 30 minutes into the meeting, where in all likelihood the BJP Parliamentary Board would be choosing the NDA Vice President candidate. Let me also bring in my colleague Piyush, who's joining us from the BJP headquarters right now. Piyush, just to walk us through the details that you are picking up right now.
Well, Shavan, right now as we are speaking, top leaders of BJP have now reached to the BJP headquarters where they are going to take part in parliamentary board meeting any minute from now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be reaching, and then the officially the parliamentary meet of BJP will begin. As we are speaking, BJP's National President JP Nadda, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Shivraj Singh Chauhan and other top leaders have already reached. Any minute from now we can expect PM to reach, and then the parliamentary meet of BJP will begin. I would ask Anup to show you pictures from right behind me. That's the very place where the press conference would also be done after this meeting comes to an end, where the BJP's top leadership is likely to announce the name of a vice presidential candidate of National Democratic Alliance. If we talk about the numbers, Shavan, there are around 394 numbers. Those are in the kitty of NDA in Parliament. And remember that the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha MPs are the one who vote for the election of Vice President of India, and BJP has got 394 in its kitty, and the magic number is 390. So it would be a cakewalk for NDA's Vice Presidential candidate. Today the meeting will take place to brainstorm on the names. What we are learning from our sources is that there could be announcement either from down south or from minority community, either from Sikh community or from Muslim community. That's what the sources are suggesting, but that has to be announced by the BJP's top leadership, and for that purpose BJP's parliamentary board meeting is right now underway. Prime Minister will also join as and when he reaches here. What we are also learning is that there are names like former Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, Captain Amrinder Singh, Thawar Chand Gehlot's name is also there, Jagdeep Dhankar's name is also doing rounds. So multiple names are there on which there could be a discussion taking place in this parliamentary board meeting. But right now as we are speaking, top leaders have already reached. Prime Minister will be reaching any minute from now, and as and when he reaches, then officially parliamentary board meet would begin, and where we can expect a press conference to be done by top leadership of BJP in an hour or so after the brainstorming on these names take place, and one particular name is finalized. If we talk about opposition strategy, tomorrow opposition is going to hold its meet on the same in Parliament. This time opposition is keeping its cards close to its chest because Yes, right now we are seeing these pictures, Shavan, of Prime Minister reaching, and he will go there inside this meet, and then parliamentary board meet will begin. Right now as we are speaking, top leaders have already reached. Prime Minister has also reached, and he will also take part in this parliamentary board meet. Like we were telling to our viewers about the opposition strategy, tomorrow opposition is going to hold its meeting where it will discuss on the opposition's vice presidential candidate. Remember that opposition is going to announce tomorrow its vice presidential candidate, because this time opposition does not want to take any kind of chance like they did in Yashwant Sinha episode. What we are also learning is that there could be a name from the Congress leader itself who will be the vice presidential candidate of opposition political parties. Opposition is very first trying to hear in from NDA about its vice presidential candidate, because last time when Yashwant Sinha's name was announced, after that we saw Draupadi Murmu's name was announced. The opposition political parties, few of them, they later on came out and they extended their support to Draupadi Murmu, which was being seen as a big setback to opposition political parties, and that is why opposition is now strategizing, and tomorrow they are going to hold meet on their vice presidential candidate. Right now we are seeing these pictures of Prime Minister whose cavalcade is inside the Bharatiya Janata Party headquarters, and he will be going there at the 5th floor where there is a meeting hall where top leaders of BJP, including BJP's National President JP Nadda, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Shivraj Singh Chauhan and many other members